welcome to the Business of Apps podcast. For many app teams, ads are treated as a necessary trade-off, something you accept in exchange for revenue. But ad quality isn't just an ad ops issue. It directly shapes user experience, retention, and how people perceive your app. In this episode, we're sharing an App Talks interview where David Murphy speaks with Alex Yerukhimovich, General Manager at AppHarbr. Alex breaks down what ad quality really means in practice, and why the problem is getting worse, and how bad ads can quietly undermine performance through shorter sessions, higher churn, and even one-star reviews that impact store visibility. From disruptive ad behavior to scams and deceptive creatives. This conversation is a practical look at why publishers need more transparency and more control over what gets served inside their apps. Without further ado, here's a conversation with Alex Yerukhimovich, General Manager at AppHarbr.
Hi, I'm David Murphy at Business of Apps, and I'm talking today with Alex Yerukhimovich, who is GM of AppHarbr. Alex, how are you doing, sir?
Hello, David. I'm doing very well. Thank you so much for having me today.
It's my pleasure and our pleasure. So could we begin with a quick intro to the company to kick us off, please, Alex?
Sure, with pleasure. So AppHarbr is a leading ad quality tool for apps, which also happens to be the award winner of the 2025 Best Tool Provider Award at the Game Awards. What we do is we help app publishers to improve their user experience with ads and their ad monetization KPIs by solving all their pains around ad quality. In a nutshell, what we do is we give them full transparency over the ads served in their apps by ad networks, so to know what's going on, and more importantly, to have control over these ads and keep all the ads that are bad for your business and bad for your reputation away from your app.
So I know we're going to talk today about ad quality. What exactly do you mean by that, Alex?
Sure. So, in an essence, ad quality means that users will see ads that make sense to them, that give them a good user experience, and then don't get them upset or want to leave your app. Because many studies have found that users treat the ad content as an organic part of the content of the app that they're playing. They don't make this differentiation that the ads may be coming from an ad network and the publisher can't help it. They expect you to be responsible of your content. So what type of ads can we help with? To make it, we can help with pretty much anything, but to keep it short and clear, we divide them into three buckets, three types of bad ads. Firstly is content. You don't like the ad creative itself or the landing page. Let's say it's violent or inappropriate. The second thing is the ad behavior. So the content is fine, but the ad is disrupting the user experience by doing something unpleasant to the user, like playing loud sound or making the device vibrate or being unclosable, speaking of full screen ads. And finally, the third category, which is probably the most problematic, is what's called malvertising, malicious ads that by design and by intent target the user to hurt them, most commonly financially. For example, convince them under some false excuse to enter their credit card number or their Facebook password in order to make malicious use of that data.
Okay, and how big a problem is this? And are there certain verticals, certain markets where the problem is more serious?
Yes, absolutely. Traditionally, these issues were more severe in gaming apps, where each ad is usually higher paying due to the formats used in games, such as rewarded video. Also, because traditionally, gaming publishers were a bit more about the average revenue per user, more than user experience and long-term retention. But the challenge that we see in the space right now and that we're trying to help with is that, and this issue becomes much more prevalent in non-gaming apps, which have long user life cycles, which really value and prioritize retention. So for them, it's much bigger of a problem that a loyal user that uses your app for 3 years will churn due to strictly the bad ads that we're seeing. So in terms of some benchmarks about malicious ads specifically in games, based on what we saw as of recently, 1 out of every 77 served ads is malicious. On non-gaming, it's one of roughly 120 ads. But as I mentioned, this gap is becoming narrower, which is a major issue for the non-gaming apps. And we hope to help them tackle this challenge successfully.
So you touched on this earlier, Alex, but just paint a picture for us of what a bad ad actually looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think I'll double click on the part of the malicious ads, which is, as mentioned, right now a hot topic in the sense that it's becoming worse and more common. So we get more and more complaints, especially around deception, deceiving the users into taking action, which is actually detrimental to the user under false claims. It can be a false claim on something relatively basic like clicking on the ad and downloading an app. For example, we see many ads nowadays claiming things like your PDF reader is out of date, you must click here and install something to fix this, but actually this is false, and this is just a random PDF reader app doing a user acquisition campaign. Similarly with app cleaners showing you messages like 27 viruses are found in your device, click here to clean, or click here to clean your storage, which you're out of. Another big thing nowadays that we get a lot of complaints and is actually very painful for the user is financial scams, actually stealing the user's money via false claims. Whether it's something pretty common right now is AI-powered deepfake, where they show celebrities with good reputation recommending various shady investments that supposedly will get you huge profit in no time, or various false claims regarding the effectiveness of products. For example, recently we saw a pretty aggressive campaign claiming that you can use half of your weight in no time by eating some magical gummy bears, and obviously there's many ads around that. So they're getting creative. There's plenty of those.
Well, just before I come to the next question, it is interesting because I think of one particular app that I used to rely on quite a lot, and it was just a map of the London Underground. And I think the ads that really sort of annoyed me were unremovable, unstoppable, and they were all for sort of games I would never ever play. So I did eventually get around to it and uninstall that app and find another one. So it does have an impact on people, even if it's not financial, even if it's just something annoying, I would say. But that's what I was going to come to next. Interesting to know what impact these bad ads have on the user experience, the player experience, and sort of further down the line, how that impacts monetization for publishers, and I guess bigger picture, the sustainability of the app ecosystem as a whole.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's a great question, which is very important to understand the gravity and the severity of the impact of these ads. Because one of the biggest challenges of publishers is sometimes they think, I know how to create a great app. I don't know this ads things. I'll work with ad networks. I'll outsource it to them. I'll focus on what I'll do best, and I'll just treat this disruption with bad ads as like a necessary evil. But that's not the case. As I said, and as proven recently by a very big research by Deloitte and Google AdMob, is that, like I said, users associate any bad experience within the app with the app itself. They don't care that an ad network served an ad of a sketchy advertiser. They put it in you. They expect a holistically good experience within your app. And there's also a misconception that these ads could be shady, but they pay me a lot of money, so I'll keep it. But the thing is, you don't know that, because right now, without using a tool like AppHarbr, you don't know what would happen if you would reject that ad. And the reality is, you'll usually get an adequate ad that pays virtually the same, maybe 99, 98% of that price, so second highest bidder, without all the problems which I'm now getting to. That was the original question. So I'll first say that there's little to no benefit. It's all negative side effects. Some are very direct and immediate. Some are more long-term and take time to build up. So firstly, if you're having a very annoying experience, you'll just close the app. You'll start using it right now. And you could have used it for another 10 minutes until your bus arrives or it's time to leave your home. But now you're not going to. And they're going to lose all that additional playtime and additional ads they show you. By the way, sometimes the ad doesn't even make you close it, it just closes it for you. For example, you mentioned a great example of unskippable full screen ad. If you're run into one of those, and based on our statistics, it's 1 out of 5 to 7 ads, full screen ads in the game, which is a lot, then you can't continue playing. You're forced to completely close the app window. You may reopen it and you may not. A lot of, if you multiply it by all the players that in around 15-20% of the cases run into such ads, that's many lost and artificially shortened sessions. Secondly, if you keep having bad experiences, whether it's content just upsets you or ads that prevent you from keep playing or scams, then you'll end up just uninstalling the app. Today, users, they know that there's plenty of alternatives in the market. They know that their time and attention is worth money, and they don't very much appreciate apps that kind of disrespect them by not putting the effort into giving them, on par quality experience. So they'll end up just deleting your app, uninstalling it, and getting the competitor app, which, as I mentioned, if you're a casual game, it's not great, but not terrible. But if you're some weather app or live scores app that your users use you day by day for years, losing even one user is a big deal. You don't want that to happen on the account of something that you haven't even done. You just didn't check better what your ad vendor is doing. Secondly, over time, enough players will do that if you keep giving them a consistently bad experience, and you'll see your retention go down, your churn rate go up. Additionally, users that are particularly upset or they just tend to engage a lot with the stores could leave you a 1-star review and even with a very vocal comment with strong feelings around the app with complaints about the experience, which obviously also impacts ASO and the decisions of future users, firstly to be exposed to your app within the store because the algorithm of Apple and Google prioritizes apps with good reviews and good comments. And secondly, even if the user gets there, if they'll read the reviews and see an abundance of 1-star reviews that echo the same challenge with bad ads, they may just pass on your app to begin with. So we see many levels to these things, all in the end negatively impact your pocket, your business, your lifetime user value, whether it's tactical on the extent of session length, whether it's more strategic like the retention rate of your app and engagement levels, and finally even hurting the very core business of your app's reputation and exposure within the ecosystem.
Good stuff. So I guess the $6 million question is, what are you doing about it? How are you fixing this problem?
This is an amazing question, and really our goal and the very purpose of the existence of AppHarbr and what we're looking to do in the industry. Without getting into a single feature or product, I'll just say where right now the industry is falling short and what is the gap we're trying to close. Firstly, just transparency. Various ad networks or mediations do provide tools that, limited tools that to a certain extent let you see what's going on in your ad placements, but what we hear from many publishers is that it's not good enough, meaning that at the end of the day, you'll just ask a random app developer, what is the most common ad vertical you're showing? What are the biggest ad quality issues? They may not even know that, unless they frequently check, and even then it's a small sample, or read reviews. So the first level is just not to neglect that. Make sure you get transparency over all the ads that are actually shown in your app. AppHarbr is the great way to do it, but not the only one. And then the other thing is become more proactive with enforcement. Right now what happens is, even if you know about a bad ad and you know where it came from and you complain to the ad network, it's now on them to disable this campaign. And sometimes they cannot, even if they want to, they're limited technically. So you're kind of left at someone else's mercy, which is, of course, never a great situation to be in. You like to be self-sufficient and independent, having control levers to actively keep away a bad ad that you're aware of repeatedly being showing to users. And that's another thing that we can do. Define what exactly you don't want. And you can use the first step of transparency to establish what that is. Okay, I have all these ads. These are the types that I don't want. And now be able to actually, in real time, actively reject these ads or prevent them from showing to users, rather than chasing third parties, asking them to stop it as the issue is ongoing, and by the minute you keep getting more user complaints or seeing more users churn. So that's speaking about, let's say, operationally in terms of actual features. Another thing that we try to do is to kind of create awareness around it, and maybe a community, if you wish, or like transparent, widespread public discourse about this situation. One of the things we did is start the Player First collective on Slack, where we have many bright minds and ad quality advocates from around the industry joining, sharing with each other new issues and challenges that they run into, exchanging advice and best practices with how to tackle this. Maybe sometimes they can realize that they can join forces and to actively approaching a certain bad actor and trying to fix this together. So I think that's will already be a huge leap collectively for the entire industry. If enough publishers will join forces and openly speak about this and show that this is a big deal, that matters, and they won't let it fly, they're going to to push back, and bad actors will be sanctioned. Maybe a big part of the problem will be solved to begin with, and people won't need to use so many features and to block so many ads, because the bad actors that right now cause the issues will understand that the climate and the atmosphere changes, and they can't get away with it as much. So by doing so, it can help the entire industry, and even the smaller apps that right now may not have enough political power to make an impact in the community or to use a third-party paid tool like AppHarbr, they can still enjoy a bigger movement in the industry. And then when my kids or your kids play an app even from a smaller publisher that's not sophisticated and can get these tools, they'll still get better experience thanks to let's say a shift in the approach of the industry. So this is definitely something that we're strongly advocating for and trying to be thought leaders and in that space.
Good stuff. So Alex, how does this improve the ad ops, the ad monetization workflow?
Yeah, so I won't repeat already on the part that I touched. Right now, ad operation teams invest a lot of time into tackling these issues, so automating it creates a lot of operational efficiency and frees their time to do other things and create new revenue engines. But another thing I'd like to touch on is segmentation and customization. So not only that right now publishers lack control, they provide the same experience for all the users, and that's not always the best case. Another problem is right now, even if they could get rid of a certain bad ad that they're on the fence about, meaning that they don't love it, but if it pays particularly well, they could keep it, they have no measurable way of checking that. So with AppHarbr, by having full transparency and full control, you can dive in deeper. For example, if you're something on the fence about, you can A/B test blocking it, firstly for all the users, then even for specific segments of users, see if and how much revenue loss is there from blocking it, and then decide whether you actually like to block it or not, or maybe realize that on iOS blocking it is bad for business, but on Android, actually it doesn't move the needle financially, so you can have better user experience with no negative financial impact. So you'll block it on iOS, but keep it on Android. And that's the other part of segmentation. You can get sophisticated by measuring how users react to different ad experiences in different user segments, such as operating system, country, paying users versus non-paying users, and custom tailor the best experience for every segment in order to find that holy grail of the balance between the performance that you deliver to the ad network, which determines how much they pay you, versus the experience that you deliver your users, which determines how sticky they get and how much they like your app.
Good stuff. So we talked a lot about bad ads and the negative impact. Let's look more positively at good ads. What do good ads do for an app?
Yeah, this is again a great question. People sometimes forget that ads are not the enemy. In the end, they're your livelihood. It what helps you provide users with content that's free for them and have a livelihood. So we welcome ads. We just want them to be safe. A good ad is an ad that appears in a good timing with a clear user experience, where the content is relevant to the player. It doesn't mean that it has to be your favorite football team or exactly the product that you wanted to purchase yesterday, it's amazing if it happens, but the users will settle on something that doesn't offend them, that isn't completely unrelated to them, that doesn't disrupt their experience, such as think of all the examples we gave. You don't want something that plays loud sound out of nowhere, that doesn't make your device vibrate, that doesn't use some sketchy closing mechanics that will deceive you by clicking some false button and getting redirected. Users respect the app developers. They want you to earn money so that you can create quality content to them. They just want to be treated fairly. So to conclude, ads are fine, and good ads is also not a very difficult or like demanding thing to achieve. You just want something that is appropriate, that is the mechanics are clear, that if it's full screen you understand how to close it, and you're good.
Excellent. Alex, it's been great talking to you. I always like to, well, not always, but quite often like to ask people to just give us a too long didn't read version of this. If people are going to listen to this interview, watch this interview, take away one message, what would it be in 30 seconds?
Sure, thank you very much, David. So I think my summary would be as follows. Ad quality in the industry deteriorates. So it's not only that the problem is big and present, it's getting worse, and it requires active approach to solve it. That means we all need to talk about this, explain that this is a big issue and it's not acceptable. This is as an industry and as a collective. For a specific developer that wants good ad quality, be active. Don't assume that others will solve it or that you can't do anything. You can't do something. Make sure you find a way to see what ads are shown in your app and that you have an active way to keep the bad ones away. And this is maybe the final take that I'm happy to have as a final sentence. Repeat the important point. For the users, the ads is an organic part of their app. They don't care that you created the app and the ads come from elsewhere. If the ads in your app are bad, for your users, your app is bad. So assume responsibility and solve these problems.
Good stuff. Thank you very much, Alex. That's it's been really interesting, and I think, as I said, it's something I've experienced personally, but you don't give a lot of thought to it. So it's nice to know someone's out there trying to tackle the problem. So, ladies and gents, that's it for today's chat with Alex Yerukhimovich about ad quality. Hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll see you again soon.
And that was the episode 256. Ad quality is hurting retention and app revenue. Featuring the App Talks interview with Alex Yerukhimovich, General Manager at AppHarbr. To listen to more episodes, by now we have more than 250 to check out. Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube podcasts. Just search for Business of Apps and you will find us easily. Remember, we release episodes on Mondays, so subscribe and you'll be able to get new episodes on your smartphone, tablet, or computer as soon as we release them. And please don't forget to leave us a review or comment on iTunes. It is highly appreciated. And all episodes will also be available on businessofapps.com. Thank you for listening. See you next week.